Stats Canada says Saskatchewan's biggest gains came from food manufacturing sales, and that's what brought Pilar Ortiz from Colombia, which buys 1 million tons of wheat from Saskatchewan every year. Growing that strong relationship face-to-face was an opportunity she couldn't pass up.
The work of the farmers in Saskatchewan is appreciating my country because we appreciate too much the quality of the wheat of Saskatchewan.
Lane says interest from places like South Asia and Latin America is all part of the expanded trade market of the growing Saskatchewan economy. Keenan Sorakan, CTV News, Saskatoon. A new report from Statistics Canada shows Saskatchewan's wholesale trade grew by more than 17% from May 2026 compared to May 2025. That includes an increase of nearly 10% over the last month, putting Saskatchewan first among all provinces.
I think we'll continue to see Saskatchewan, be at the top or very near the top of economic growth across Canada and a net contributor to this country's economic strength.
Premier Scott Moe has been busy going to at least 10 countries for various trade missions over the last 2 years. Strengthening those relationships and encouraging new ones has had a helping hand in diversifying the marketplace and increasing the province's manufacturing sales numbers.
In China and or India, we have been in both of those countries when, Canada and, for example, India's relationship was not that strong.
Canada is quietly becoming one of the world's strongest food suppliers, and most have no idea how fast it is happening. More countries are choosing Canadian wheat because they trust its quality. One country is leading the way, but this could be only the beginning. Saskatchewan's manufacturing sales hit over $2 billion in 2026, up 9.6% in a single month, ranking the province first in Canada for month-over-month manufacturing growth. Wholesale trade reached $4 billion in the same month, up 17.3% year-over-year ranking. Saskatchewan first in Canada for wholesale trade growth among all provinces. Saskatchewan's 2025 real GDP reached an all-time high of $85.4 billion. And on July 16th, 69 international buyers from 14 countries flew into Saskatoon for the first ever Saskatchewan Global Commodities Showcase. Colombia was in the room, and Colombia came specifically for wheat. The Saskatchewan Global Commodities Showcase was hosted by the Saskatchewan Trade and Export Partnership, STEP, on July 16th, 2026. It was the first event of its kind in the organization's history. The 14 countries represented by the 69 buyers and officials in attendance included Argentina, Bangladesh, Colombia, Egypt, India, Jordan, Libya, Morocco, Pakistan, Panama, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and the United States. More than 25 Saskatchewan exporters participated in full-day business-to-business meetings covering grains, pulses, oilseeds, special crops, and animal feed products. The showcase was not a networking event. It was a procurement event, buyers actively seeking suppliers, sitting across tables from Saskatchewan producers, negotiating supply relationships that will define trade flows for years ahead. Bringing this many international buyers directly to Saskatchewan is a unique opportunity for exporters, said Chris Lane, president and CEO of STEP. The geography of that statement matters. The buyers did not receive a virtual presentation or a trade delegation summary. They flew to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, the geographic heart of Canada's agricultural production, to see the supply chain directly and to build the personal relationships that long-term commodity contracts require. That physical presence in the province is the commercial commitment that distinguishes the STEP showcase from a standard trade mission. Colombia's presence at the showcase reflects a supply relationship that is already one of Saskatchewan's most significant international commercial partnerships. Colombia imports approximately 1 million tons of Saskatchewan wheat every year. That volume makes Colombia a top-tier foreign buyer for Saskatchewan wheat exporters, a country whose food processing industry has built its production around the consistent quality and protein content of Canadian hard red spring wheat and hard red winter wheat. Colombian flour mills, pasta manufacturers, and bread producers require wheat with specific falling numbers, protein percentages, and moisture content. Saskatchewan's wheat has met those specifications consistently enough that Colombian buyers describe it as a preferred origin in an increasingly competitive global wheat market. And the Saskatchewan Global Commodities Showcase documented the dual commercial momentum happening simultaneously: domestic manufacturing expansion and international agricultural market development advancing together. These results demonstrate the confidence businesses continue to have in Saskatchewan and the advantages our province offers. Trade and Export Development Minister Warren Keating said, "Growth in manufacturing and wholesale trade reflects the province's ability to compete in markets around the world." The wholesale trade figures Saskatchewan posted in both April and May 2026 deserve specific attention because of what the measurement excludes. Statistics Canada's wholesale trade data for Saskatchewan explicitly excludes petroleum products, other hydrocarbons, oilseed, and grain. The $4 billion in May 2026 wholesale trade and the 17.3% year-over-year growth are entirely outside Saskatchewan's. Two dominant commodity categories, oil and grain. The province is posting record wholesale trade growth in the sectors that sit beneath its most visible resource industries. That breadth of economic activity across manufacturing, food processing, equipment, and industrial materials is what distinguishes the current Saskatchewan growth cycle from previous commodity price-driven booms. Saskatchewan's 2025 real GDP reached $85.4 billion, an all-time high representing a 2.2% increase. That GDP figure arrived in the same statistical release that confirmed first-place rankings in manufacturing, sales growth, and wholesale trade growth. A province posting an all-time real GDP high while simultaneously ranking first nationally in two separate economic performance categories and hosting its first ever International Agricultural Buyer Showcase is experiencing a convergence of economic indicators that the trade diversification strategy Premier Scott Moe has pursued through 10+ country visits in the past 2 years is now producing immeasurable commercial outcomes. The Panama buyer at the showcase, Rodriguez, a trade representative who specifically noted encountering camelina oil from Saskatchewan for the first time, illustrates how the STEP Showcase's business-to-business format produces commercial outcomes that purely government trade missions do not. Camelina oil is a high omega-3, low saturated fat cooking and industrial oil produced from a drought-tolerant oilseed that grows well in Saskatchewan's climate. It is not a commodity with an established global trade market at scale. It is an emerging product that a Panamanian buyer would not encounter through conventional commodity import channels. A face-to-face meeting between a Saskatchewan camelina oil producer and a Panamanian food industry buyer is the specific commercial interaction that creates the export relationship and that the Saskatchewan Global Commodities Showcase was specifically designed to generate at scale across 25 Saskatchewan exporters and 69 international buyers simultaneously. The Agriculture Canada Outlook for Principal Field Crops, published in June 2026, provides the production context within which Saskatchewan's export expansion is occurring. Canada's 2026 wheat production is projected at strong levels following favorable growing conditions across the prairies. Saskatchewan accounts for approximately 45% of Canada's total wheat production, making it the dominant provincial contributor to a crop that Canada exports to approximately 70 countries annually. The combination of strong 2026 production projections and the active market development occurring through Premier Moe's international trade missions and STEP's commercial showcase positions Saskatchewan to expand its wheat export volume in 2026 and 2027 into markets that the showcase is actively building. Colombia's 1 million ton annual wheat import relationship with Saskatchewan is the scale reference that makes the showcase's other buyer meetings commercially meaningful. A country that imports 1 million tons annually becomes that volume through years of consistent quality delivery, competitive pricing, and reliable logistics. Exactly the commercial relationship attributes that Colombian buyers at the Saskatoon Showcase described when they said they trust Saskatchewan's consistent quality and reliability. But the showcase's business-to-business format is specifically designed to compress that timeline by bringing buyers to Saskatchewan, rather than asking Saskatchewan producers to navigate export market development through intermediaries.